Tonight, former MASLOC CEO Sedina Tamakloe has regained her freedom after the Attorney General withdrew an application seeking to stay the execution of a sentence pending an appeal at the Supreme Court. We find out what had transpired and informed the Attorney General's decision to drop the case and free Sedina Tamakloe. We get a reaction from legal experts and the NPP, which accused government of shielding its own. All these and more coming up on Top Story. Top Story is brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies, Shield Pension Trust into the future with you. Holy insecticide spray and coil. Don't go anywhere.
If I become a millionaire, I will put a huge billboard right next to my ex's house saying, "Look at me now, I hate it."
As for me, I'm quitting my job in style. Me too, I hate it.
Telecel is making millionaires this season. Not one, not two,
but 3 millionaires.
Each month, one lucky Telecel customer wins 1 million Ghana cedis for the next 3 months in the Telecel Mahetse promo. Plus, you still get to win 20,000 Ghana cedis weekly, 100 Ghana cedis daily, bundle 10 Ghana cedis, time or data. Top up your Telecel cash wallet or your fixed broadband to stand a chance of winning. Visit the Telecel Play app or dial star 500 hash to opt in for free into the Telecel Mahetse promo.
Telecel, connecting energies.
This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana mada with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Missed passes, bad referee decisions.
Don't let your child's grade suffer a bad match. Ensure a straight win this academic season with curriculum-aligned textbooks and interactive tools from Pegasus Publishing.
From preschool to senior high school, we have the exact game plan your kids need to ace their classes. And because it's World Cup season, you get a massive 20% off every single book. Don't drop points. Call 059-50-10-10175 or dash to Pegasus Publishing in Accra, Newtown, right opposite the Total Energy Station. Free delivery within Accra when you call. Pegasus Publishing, shaping minds, winning futures.
Palladium Residences in Achimota isn't just an address, it's the home you've truly earned. Secure your place with just a 10% deposit and choose from beautifully designed modern apartments or spacious townhouses built for everyday comfort. This is more than a building. It's a vibrant curated community with a clubhouse, state-of-the-art gym and an on-site hotel, all at ABC Junction, minutes from Achimota Mall. Enjoy city energy whilst retreating to your private sanctuary. Call now to reserve your unit and benefit from limited launch incentives, including priority unit selection. Don't miss the chance to pick the best homes. Book your private site visit today. Call 050-9823-424. Palladium Residences. Live smart, invest better.
This is Top Story. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi, we will begin with this breaking news, which is that former MASLOC CEO Sedina Tamakloe has regained her freedom after the Attorney General withdrew an application seeking to stay the execution of a sentence pending an appeal at the Supreme Court. Tamakloe was released from prison a while ago following the AG's decision to discontinue the stay of execution application. The move effectively paves the way for her to walk free after the Court of Appeal earlier quashed her conviction and 10-year sentence for causing financial loss to the state and other offences related to the microfinance and small loans center, MASLOC, which she headed. Let's bring in our legal affairs correspondent Kweku Asante, who was in court for us earlier, for more on what happened in court earlier today. Kweku, welcome to the program. Walk us through what happened in court today.
So the business of the day was the Attorney General's application to stay the execution
of the judgment of the Court of Appeal 2 weeks ago, which acquitted and discharged Sedina Tamakloe-Attionu. As we know, the Attorney General's insistence is that the acquittal and discharge was in error, and that he believes that he has a high chance in the appeal that he has filed before the Supreme Court. And so, until the full appeal is determined by the Supreme Court, he wanted Madam Sedina Tamakloe-Attionu to be in jail until then, for fear that Madam Sedina Tamakloe may abscond from the jurisdiction, etc., etc. And that argument was actually held just before the court went on legal vacation. However, the court could not reach a decision and inform the parties that they were going to seek a warrant from the Chief Justice so that they will be able to sit during the vacation and offer their ruling on the specific application. Today, the three-member panel sat and were ready to read out their ruling, and the state attorneys that represented the Attorney General's Department in court were on their feet, and according to them, they had withdrawn the application. They had filed a notice of the withdrawal, and same had been served on the other party. The court also had it on its docket, and as far as they're concerned, they were not really interested in moving forward with that application. And they being the party that brought the matter before court, and now saying they were not interested in moving it forward, the court had to strike it out as withdrawn. The lawyers for Sedina Tamakloe were not opposed, except a little objection to say that as far as they were concerned, that application to withdraw, or that notice to withdraw, should have been by leave of courts, but that was not a substantive objection. So the court struck out the proceedings as withdrawn. And as we know now, not only has the application been withdrawn, Madam Sedina Tamakloe has now been released from custody. And the Attorney General has actually since then, in particular, prior to today, applied to the Supreme Court to have the conviction restated by way of the appeal, but also to keep Sedina Tamakloe in jail. And so that application for stay of execution has also been filed at the Supreme Court. Understanding is that on the 13th of October, that application will be moved, and then the Supreme Court will be seized with the matter and then make a determination. But in between that, I can confirm that Madam Sedina Tamakloe had her release warrant signed earlier today, and she has been released from prison custody.
Interesting. And can the Supreme Court still order Sedina's return to prison if it eventually overturns the Court of Appeal's decision, or does today's development change her legal position?
Well, if the Supreme Court were to hold that the Attorney General's application to stay the execution of the Court of Appeal's judgment has merit, yes, then indeed, Madam Sedina Tamakloe would have to go back to jail, because what that would mean is that the acquittal and discharge has been stayed. Of course, there are those who hold the view that an acquittal and discharge cannot be stayed. It is not an ordinary judgment of a court, especially even in a civil proceeding, to be stayed in the first place. But that is up to the Supreme Court to now decide. But if the court were to help, agreeing with the Attorney General, Madam Sedina Tamakloe would have to return to prison pending the determination of the appeal. But I suspect Madam Sedina Tamakloe will not be so much worried about that now, because that application itself will be moved at the Supreme Court at least in the next 2 months. But before then, she has just regained her freedom and has reconnected with her family.
Kweku Asante there. He's our legal affairs correspondent. He was in court earlier for us and witnessed proceedings. And if you just joined us, the breaking news just came through is that former MASLOC CEO Sedina Tamakloe has regained her freedom after the Attorney General withdrew an application seeking to stay the execution of her sentence pending an appeal at the Supreme Court. Sedina Tamakloe was released from prison a while ago following the AG's decision to discontinue the stay application. The move effectively paves the way for her to walk free, at least for now, after the Court of Appeal earlier quashed her conviction and 10-year sentence for causing financial loss to the state and other offenses related to the Microfinance and Small Loans Center, MASLOC, which she used to be CEO. This is still Top Story, brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Shield Pension Trust into the future with you. My name is Kenneth, Gyasi, and if you just joined us, as I mentioned earlier, the story that we're bringing to you right now is a breaking news story, and it is that former MASLOC CEO Sedina Tamakloe-Attionu has regained her freedom after the Attorney General withdrew an application seeking to stay the execution of her sentence pending an appeal at the Supreme Court. Well, Tamakloe was released from prison a while ago following the AG's decision to discontinue the stay application, and the move effectively paves the way for her to walk free, at least for now, after the Court of Appeal earlier quashed her conviction and 10-year sentence for causing financial loss to the state and other related offenses to the MASLOC, where she used to be CEO. We're trying to raise the lawyers for Sedina Tamakloe to understand what this means for their clients. We will also try to get the opposition NPP, who have always maintained that this is a politically motivated ruling by the Court of Appeal. And then also they say that the AG, in fact, did not have any interest for Sedina Tamakloe to remain in prison. So now that Sedina Tamakloe has regained her freedom, what does the minority think of that? We'll try to raise them on the line. But at the moment, though, let's bring you other stories related to the court, and it is that former CEO of the National Buffer Stock Company, Abdul Wahab, may appear before the Accra High Court on Monday without legal representation after his lead counsel reported being unwell. Hanan, who is the first person accused in the case, told the court that his lawyer, former Attorney General Godfrey Dame, could not appear due to ill health and is currently receiving medical attention. Well, the development comes against the backdrop of an escalating legal dispute over the Chief Justice's directive from certain criminal cases to proceed during the legal vacation. A legal affairs correspondent, Fatal Bayaga, has more, and when we return from that, we will delve deeper into the breaking news story that we have for you right now. Listen.
Hanan arrived at the Accra High Court alongside his wife, with his legal team absent. He told the court that his lead counsel, former Attorney General Godfrey Dame, was unwell and currently on admission. Hanan's wife, Faiza Winnie, who is the second accused person, also informed the court that her counsel, Augustine Obo, was indisposed, explaining why he could not appear before the court. However, Deputy Attorney General Justice Msai questioned the explanation given by Dame's absence. He told the court that the lawyer had previously indicated that he would not be available during the legal vacation and had subsequently petitioned the Chief Justice over the decision to proceed with the trial during that period. Msai further argued that if ill health was being relied upon as the reason for counsel's absence, the court ought to have been provided with medical evidence to substantiate the claim. Meanwhile, Hanan told the court that he had received a copy of an application for stay of proceedings filed at the Court of Appeal, which is scheduled to be heard on October 19. He therefore appealed for a longer adjournment to allow the appellate proceedings to take their course. The presiding judge, Justice Francis Apanga Chibonga, however, adjourned the matter to August 17, directing counsel for the first accused to appear and address the court on the pending application for stay of proceedings. For Joy News, Fatal Bayaga, Accra High Court.
Well, let's go on to the telephone lines right now and speak to Japa Mesa. He's a lawyer and also a member of the opposition NPP. Welcome to the program. Your party, the NPP, previously accused the government of shielding Sedina Tamakloe. Now that the AG has withdrawn the stay application and she has been released, do you feel this vindicates that accusation or it changes your assessment?
Well, let me say good evening to your cherished listeners. And to say that I really am not surprised. The script that was formulated when the NDC came into office, commencing with the only proof required that they entered for all persons affiliated with the NDC who were standing trial in the courts. Subsequently, this appeal that has been filed as far back as May 2024, no step had been taken whatsoever. All of a sudden, is relisted the Attorney General refused to file written submissions in which asserts that some parts of the proceedings itself were not available to the Attorney General's office at the time that they were filing their written submissions. Subsequently, the Court of Appeal acquits and discharges her, and the Attorney General quickly comes to tell us that, hey, I'm unhappy with the outcome of the Court of Appeal decision, and that I'm going to appeal it to the Supreme Court. Some people prophesied that this was not going to amount to much, and today we've seen that what people have prophesied has actually come to fruition. It's for the good people of this country to determine whether indeed and in fact the ends of justice have been met, or that is the usual politicking where opponents of the party in office are victimized, taken through the processes of the law, and people who are aligned to the governing parties are set free. I have consistently maintained that for we, the NPP, we are not opposed to people who have served in that Kufuor administration being held to account, because we believe in the tenets of the democracy, of the Constitution, which includes accountability. And so people who serve in government of necessity, but when it's selective, when there's cherry picking, when it's obvious to everybody that when it comes to some segment of the Ghanaian populace who are affiliated to a particular party, assuming without admitting that that in itself is not true, the kinds of things that we've seen clearly feeds into the perception that this government is out to set the people affiliated to it free and to hold them people to account. We are ready. We'll see how it plays out. And I know that in the fullness of time, whatever it is that the chips up for would certainly fall.
Don't you think the accusations leveled against government as of now are a bit premature, because it was the Court of Appeal rather than government that ultimately acquitted and discharged Sedina? So is it fair to characterize a release as a government decision when the immediate trigger was really a judicial ruling?
See, this gotcha question, right, is not fair to me. I think you should direct it to the people who accused the court when they were in opposition as being an appendage of the executive. Because I'm a lawyer, I believe firmly in the independence of the judiciary. Of course, I hear people say stuff, but I've never, and I would never, bring the reputation of the judiciary into dispute. But I'm saying that if the people who are today in government allege that the then executive was in cahoots with the executive when decisions of the court went against them, that amounted to the judiciary being an appendage of the government, then what is their response today when people have that same perception regarding what is pertaining as we see today?
Don't go yet. Let me bring in Abraham Amalaba. He's the former Director of Legal Affairs with the governing NDC. Mr. Amalaba, welcome to the program. I want to pick your initial reaction to Sedina Tamakloe finally being released from prison.
Thank you for having me. That is the logical conclusion. Once the court said she was acquitted and discharged, normally there will be a 7 days lull period where the orders of the court will not be tampered, will not be effected. After 7 days, yeah, she's ready, she's prepared, or she can go home, walk free, go home. So I didn't expect anything apart from that.
There are concerns as to why government through the Attorney General, withdrew that suit or stay of execution processes filed at the Court of Appeal, which eventually led to this ruling that we have today. Why did government do that? Do you know?
I can only hazard a guess, and the guess is that if you know that, don't forget that the appeal was filed at a time when the judgment was not before the Attorney General. You remember he said that in his press conference. He said that this morning, that was when he was speaking, that he has a soft copy, he has not read it yet, but he has ordered the DPP. I'm sure after reading it, he comes to the firm conclusion that there's nothing to appeal, and that when you appeal, you will lose. Don't forget that this Attorney General has always said that I will only go to court if there's evidence. So probably he has taken a second look at his own decision and decided to withdraw.
Well, I have Appiah Mensah on the line. He, together with the NPP, are saying, we told you so. This is something that the government had always wanted, pretending to be impursuant of keeping Sedina Tamakloe in jail. Finally, she's been released from prison custody. Is this something that the government wanted, do you think?
I don't like people who don't talk law. I only like a lawyer to be speaking law. You told me so. If the law does not allow that, how will that happen? Which part of the judgment that freed her is in question? So I'm not going to engage. When I meet somebody who's not a lawyer, I can go political, but lawyers should stay within the law. So if the Supreme Court that he says he respects hadn't acquitted and discharged the lady, even if we as a party wanted to do it, how could we have done it? So another arm of government, independent as it is and respectable as it is, gave that ruling. And so if that ruling comes from the judiciary, why do you say that you told us so?
Right. The man to answer the question is also.
And don't forget that under the law, the president could have even pardoned her. You know that. If that had been done, then you can say we told you so. But how can the decision of a Supreme Court, a court of competent jurisdiction, now be a matter that we told you so? It cannot be. So I think that they should speak law and stop speaking with emotions.
Well, Andrew Appiah Mensah is still on the line with me. Mr. Appiah Mensah, you've been listening to your colleague on the NDC side.
Why would I be emotional about this matter? I'm not related or associated with the lady in any way. Whether the NDC government only 2 years ago accused the judiciary as being biased, today sees the judiciary as independent, then hallelujah. For me, it's the progress for our democracy that at least today we all agree in quotes that the judiciary is independent. So the question that the good people of Ghana ought to be asking them, that when did they begin to realize that the judiciary was independent? Was it only when they came into government, or when they were in opposition that decisions of the Superior Court was not in their favor, they still believed that the judiciary was independent? Look, this question about the Attorney General indicating that he hadn't read the judgment and proceeded to file an appeal at the Supreme Court. Okay. Dominic is my good friend. He actually taught me some law in law faculty. But I'm wondering whether it is being suggested that the Attorney General of the Republic did not review the decision of the Court of Appeal before he proceeded to tell Ghanaians that he was filing an appeal. Is that it? When the 7 days that he himself alludes to had not expired. So what was the basis of the assurance that the Attorney General gave to the people of Ghana that, look, I'm not happy with the decision of the Court of Appeal. And so I'm going to appeal. So all I'm saying is that their own actions feed into the perception that this is scripted. It's scripted. For any objective Ghanaian who is watching the space, for a government that came into office on the back of anti-corruption, the fight against corruption, for a government that made oral as a key campaign commitment to come into government, and the first act was to free people who were standing trial from their stock. What does it tell you? Like I said, but we in the MPP, we would raise the issues and highlight them for Ghanaians to see the hypocrisy of the NDC. And they have to be the judges, not us. So it's not a question of me being emotional. I really don't give, pardon my French, but really, whether she goes in or out, it's neither here nor there. It doesn't affect me in any way. But I'm saying that the people who preach probity and accountability today, for their own actions, are telling Ghanaians that when it affects them, then the law can, be thrown wherever they want to throw it. And when it affects the opposition, but the skills will certainly change someday.
Mr. Appiah, I still have Abraham Amaliba on the line. He has refuted those allegations again and again, and he's actually challenging you to tell us which section of the law was breached in freeing Sedina Tamakloe.
I should tell you the section of the law that was breached.
Yes, that's what Abraham Amaliba is insisting.
So when is the time to ask him what time frame that the law imposes on parties who file an appeal to prosecute the appeal? Let him tell us. Let him tell us why Sedina Tamakloe filed her appeal in May of 2024 and went to sleep until April 2026 before they picked it up. Let them tell us. Let them tell us. Look, he says that when he is arguing with lawyers, right, that he won't go political. But he knows, as much as I do, that, like they say, the law is in the bosom of the judge. And so, judges give decisions and find law to back it. But I don't have any problem. Like I said, look, we will raise the issues. If Ghanaians think that, well, no law has been breached and that the due process has been followed and Madam Sedina Tamakloe is duly entitled to go home after all the allegations that were leveled against her that were established in the trial, which then necessitated her having to take leave, travel out of the country, and refuse to return. Today, we are being told that people who are seeking for their trial to be deferred until 10 times are afraid, right, and want to delay the trial because they have cobwebs in their closet. But we are being told also that, well, same people who left the country, fled, essentially, and chose not to return to stand trial are guiltless. And that if the Court of Appeal sets them free and the Attorney General comes to tell Ghanaians that I'm unhappy with the decision of the Court of Appeal and I'm going to appeal, that Attorney General can withdraw the appeal, or the application that is filed on the day of the hearing for the lady to be set free. Hallelujah.
Oh, well, let me bring in Abraham Amaliba to respond to that. Mr. Amaliba, I want to give you some few minutes to respond to Mr. Appiah.
I don't like a lawyer who would always be quoting the court of public opinion and run with it. Nobody in the judiciary has said Ken Ofori-Atta is guilty. If people walking on the streets say Ken Ofori-Atta is guilty, why, as a lawyer, Do you have a problem with that? The court of public opinion does not determine the guilt of a person. That must be told. Now, what it means with the release of Attionu is that Kenneth could actually come back home, and if the court finds that he's not guilty, he will walk free. That's what it also means. So I'm not going to marry the public opinions and then talk about it as if that's what the court said. The court didn't say Kenneth is guilty. The next point is that the fact that you are preaching probity, accountability, and oral does not mean that chinchina. Don't mind my Ghanaian expression. If you don't like somebody's face, you must bundle that person into the prison. That's not what it means. So we may be fighting oral, but if the court says that she's done nothing wrong, you still want us to keep her there because we are fighting oral? What kind of analysis is that?
But Mr. Ejapa-Mensah raises a concern, which of course have been shared by a cross-section of the MPP members, saying that, for example, if you look at the timeline with which Sedina Tamakloe filed her appeal and how it was expedited just beginning this April, that fuels into the argument that they have been making, Ejapa-Mensah and his party have been making, that this is indeed politically motivated.
Haven't we had an appeal or a process that was filed at 10 a.m. and by 12 it was heard and the matter closed? Cast your mind back. Haven't we had that? That is within the preserve of the judiciary. They will determine how to deal with their matters. It's just like Parliament being masters of its own rule. You don't determine that for them. So where from this? And I think that it is important to state that when the former National Security Coordinator, Kenneth said, when rulings of the Supreme Court goes one way, it heightens the security of the state. That was not an NDC person saying that. Was there an NDC person saying that? So they should give us a break.
Right, Abraham Maliba, thank you very much. He's the former Director of Legal Affairs of the governing NDC. We also heard from Andrew Ejapa, who is a member of the NPP and a lawyer as well. It's now time for News Night. Gemma has the headlines. Gemma?
Coming up tonight, Adamus Resources Limited fires back at the Lands Ministry's decision to uphold the revocation of its mining leases in the Western region, calling allegations against it as baseless, contrived, and a deliberate act designed to strip the company of its mining leases.
It's agreed with them. There was a petition and we formed the Ministerial Review Committee to look at it. That work has come to an end. And I have concluded to uphold the revocation. What that means going forward is that the Minerals Commission should with immediate effect take administrative control of this mine.
The company says the Lands Ministry violated Act 703 in revoking the 3 mining leases in clear abuse of its powers and vows legal fight. Also, 28-year-old Ghanaian migrant is demanding justice and appealing for support after his roommates allegedly poured acid on him in Dubai, completely disfiguring his face and leaving severe scars across his body.
The suffering and where to sleep, what to eat. We cannot continue to be asking. No. But we came back, I continue calling out for justice. No one is hearing me out. So I'm just praying that maybe God will help me one day and open some doors for me because I'm tired.
The first item is okra soup and fufu. I'm yearning to get started.
In sports,
Black Queens players demand outstanding bonuses and paradigms and accuse government of neglect and inadequate professional support.
And later, fufu and okra soup. President Mahama may have found an unusual combination on the menu in Jamaica, but is this a meal you would happily order, or is Ghana not ready for this experiment? On your say, share your views with us either through comments or send us a short voice note on our WhatsApp console 055 11 11 997 and tag us on all social media handles. Later in business.
Tax analyst Francis Timoboy warns Akabiri Limited to push for further engagement with government on some tax concerns rather than opting for a shutdown.
Hello again. Tonight, former Chief Executive Officer of the National Buffer Stock Company, Hanan Abdul Wahab, may appear before the Accra High Court on Monday without legal representation after his lead counsel reported being unwell. Well, Hanan, who is the first accused person in the case, told the court that his lawyer, former Attorney General Godfrey Dame, could not appear due to ill health and is currently receiving medical attention. The development comes against the backdrop of an escalating legal dispute over the Chief Justice's directive for certain criminal cases to proceed during the legal vacation. And let's get onto the telephone lines right now and engage a member of Abdul Wahab's legal team, Yao Buampong Edu Brimpong. Welcome to the program. Are you not concerned that your client may be compelled to appear in court on Monday without any legal representation?
Right. A very good evening to you and also your cherished listeners. And of course, we are concerned about our clients, and indeed, the fact that this is a criminal trial, and so we appreciate clearly what is at stake. However, what we have stated clearly is that, and that has been our position on the matter, which we have even written to the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, that we believe that the attempt to conduct criminal trials in the vacation is contrary to the time-old practice and the rules in respect of the sittings of the Superior Courts in Ghana. We have made that position clear. And so we await a response from the Chief Justice, which we have not had as we speak. And so what we do know is that vacation courts are primarily to deal with, urgent matters, specifically motions, etc. So it's unconventional, and indeed it's odd that there's a conscious attempt to conduct this particular trial in the vacation. Also, we indicated to the court, in fact, at the last agenda date, which is on the 30th of July, the last day in the legal year, my very respected senior, Honorable Godfrey Dame, indicated to the court that after the court had indicated, in fact, the court has informed the parties that it had received a warrant to sit in the vacation as a vacation judge to continue the trial. The Honorable Godfrey Dame intimated to the court that there are plans far advanced for himself and then for all the lawyers in his firm, and so it would be difficult for us to turn up in court, as the court had indicated that he had warrant to sit.
Okay. Well, your boss, Godfrey Dame, told the court through his client that he was unwell. But that is something that has been disputed by the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Sremsai, who says that and also the legal vacation are being used by you to delay the trial. Is that the case? Is that a deliberate attempt to delay the trial? What is going on?
That is very unfortunate, as coming from the Deputy Attorney General. In fact, I disagree entirely with the position. It's completely unfounded and not supported by the facts. Indeed, at the last agenda date, my senior, the Honorable Godfrey Dame, even told the court that on that date, he was not able to even project his voice because he was not feeling well. Subsequently, in fact, these are matters which are private in my view, they are private. But for the purpose of the conversation, it becomes necessary for me to share. The Honorable Godfrey Dame has been taken ill in the past 2 weeks. And so it's clearly unfounded for the Attorney General to tell the court that this is an attempt to delay the trial. Indeed, Honorable Hanan Abdul Wahab has consistently appeared. He has consistently cooperated since his first arrest and then subsequent arrest, subsequent withdrawal of the charges, the rearrest when he was given a clear order by the court to travel. We have participated in the trial since then until now. And so it will be disingenuous for anybody, especially the Attorney General, who has always been in court, the Deputy Attorney General, for that matter, who has always been in court with us, to make a proposition that this is an attempt to delay the trial. That is not so.
The argument has been, that if your senior lawyer, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, is not well, he could just write to the court informing the court that he's not well, for the court to give him enough time to recover and continue the case. But that was not done today, and the reason your client gave was that he's not well, but he had already written to the Chief Justice that he would not be available during the legal vacation. The question really isn't that he's not well, or he would just not be available during the legal vacation to continue the case.
The primary reason and the information that was given by Hanan to the court today, to my understanding, was not the fact that the lawyer, in fact my senior, was unwell. The primary reason was the fact that we had written to the Chief Justice in respect of the trials being progressed in the vacation, and then also that a stay of proceedings had been filed. In fact, we filed a stay of proceedings pending an appeal that we have filed before the trial court, which was refused by the court. And then we have received, we have also repeated that application at the Court of Appeal. And so these two were the primary reasons that Hanan Abdul Wahab gave the court for the absence of his lawyers. It's true also that the Honorable Godfrey Dame has taken ill. However, the primary reason that Honorable Abdul Wahab gave the court today was the fact that we had written to the Chief Justice, and we are awaiting a response from the Chief Justice, which we have not gotten as we speak. And then also that the fact that there's a pending application for stay of proceedings, which we have filed before the Court of Appeal.
Well, the court has also indicated that your stay of execution application will be heard one-sided if you or Godfrey Dame continue not to appear in court. Does that not worry you at all?
It doesn't worry us at all as a firm, because indeed, let me state that I do not have the instructions of my senior as to what would happen on Monday, whether or not we will show up in court. However, what I do know is that the consideration of whether or not the court must stay its hands pending the appeal that has been filed by the accused person, to my best understanding, is an interlocutory matter, which is not a substantive matter before the trial judge. And so we are not worried at all whether when the court intimates that it intends to proceed on the trial, given that we are not able to show up in court. I think it is not a worrying situation. Just as I've said, I do not have the instructions of my senior, particularly in regards to whether or not we are going to appear in court. But my candid opinion is that that is not a matter that is a substantive matter before the trial court for it to determine it. We believe that it's an interlocutory matter. And so I think that when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it.
Before you go, though, you say that your boss, Godfrey Dame, has taken ill for the past 2 weeks. How is he doing? Is he okay?
I spoke to my boss, if I recollect vividly, about 2 days ago, and I think that he is responding positively and actively to treatment.
Thank you very much for your time this evening. Yao Buampong Edu Brimpon is an associate with Dami and Partners. Professor Kweju Appiah is professor of international law at the University of Ghana. He's also a human rights lawyer. Professor Appiah, welcome to the program. There's been a lot happening within the legal fraternity in the past few weeks or more. The latest one is the legal vacation controversy with the former Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame informing the court through his clients today that he is unable to appear before the court because he has taken ill. But that is an assertion that the Deputy Attorney General Godfred Justice Sremsai is not buying. He says that that is part of an attempt to delay the trial because already Godfrey Yeboah-Dame and Samuel Atachia, who is also handling a different case, have already said that they are not going to appear in court during the legal vacation. I want to pick your thoughts on the whole controversy surrounding cases being held during the legal vacation.
Thanks for having me. I think that it is very rare for such a development. It's for this to happen, and what the issue is that the the Chief Justice has discretionary power based on certain circumstances to ask for cases to be heard during the legal vacation. And during the legal vacation, the circumstances would include hearing applications and motions and things like that. But for a proper hearing to be there or to continue, it has to be based on an arrangement and agreement between both parties to the case and where a judge is also made available for that. So in this situation where one party is contesting that arrangement and it is being imposed on them from the Chief Justice, it creates a difficulty for the Chief Justice to be deemed to be acting independently. And so that is my big concern here. And as it stands now, if even at the end of the day, justice will be served or a determination is made, and that determination against the defendants in the case or political involvement in the decision that has been made. And that is my concern. And at the end of the day, it is, if this precedent is followed, it is going to eat into the independence of the judiciary itself, because that is the freedom that the judiciary has. The fact that people have been talking about the judiciary going on leave for 2 months and so on, that is a problem. It's different from what we are facing now, because here we have the rules are clear that the Chief Justice has the discretion, and we can even refer to Article 296 of the Constitution about the exercise of judicial discretion. It shouldn't be capricious and so on. And so I think that is a problem that this matter is raising, and it's very important regarding the independence of the judiciary, and to also to ensure that lawyers have some freedom and to be able to represent their clients without being forced to take some days that should be considered as a vacation period to do cases that are especially criminal cases. Yes.
Right. And do you think that compelling an accused person to proceed when the counsel is absent raises constitutional concerns about the right to a fair hearing and legal representation?
Definitely, it does. It does. And so that is another situation where
Hello, Professor Appiah. Do I have you?
Consciously or unconsciously, we are
unfortunately, the network is not helping us, but you heard from Kweju Appiah. He is a professor of international law at the University of Ghana. He's also a human rights lawyer. You're still listening to Newsnight. Let's bring you more stories, Gemma.
Tonight, a major clash is brewing in Ghana's mining sector. Adamus Resources Limited is accusing the Lands Ministry of running a manufactured plot to strip it of 3 mining leases. The company says the ministry's revocation is unlawful, baseless, and an abuse of power. This comes after Lands Minister Emmanuel Kofi-Boah upheld the revocation of leases held by Adamus Resources Limited following the submission of the Inter-Ministerial Committee's final report reviewing the company's petition against the initial decision. The initial revocation followed a series of inspections conducted by the Minerals Commission, which uncovered sustained and material breaches of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, and its subsidiary legislation. Adamu says it will now announce its next steps to fight what it calls a revocation. Here's Minister for Lands and Natural Resources Emmanuel Kofi-Boah when he visited Adamus Resources in the Western region a few days ago.
In the report of the Minerals Commission to the Chief Inspector of Mines with recommendations of grave violations of the Mining Act and mining regulations, a recommendation for revocation of some of the mining leases here, Sama, Cambo, and others were recommended. The minister agreed with them. There was a petition, and we informed the Ministerial Review Committee to look at it. That work has come to an end. And I have concluded to uphold the revocation. What that means going forward is that the Minerals Commission should with immediate effect take administrative control of this mine.
Adamus Resources has issued a statement on the matter. Ken, what does Adamus say about the revocation?
Well, so Adamus says the revocation of its mining leases is unlawful, accusing the minister of disregarding statutory procedure in the Minings and Minerals Act 2006, Act 703. It says, and I quote, the company has duly noted the abuse of power wrapped in the absolute disregard of law in the process, leading to the contemptible revocation of its leases, unquote. The company says it will communicate its next step to shred what it describes as baseless revocation.
Thank you very much. Pakwesi Shandov is spokesperson for the Lands Ministry. He joins us via Zoom. Kofi Bentel is the Senior Vice President for Imani Africa and also the law. We also have representatives from Adamus. He's joined us as well. Let me start with Pakwesi Shandov. What were the initial reasons for revoking the mining leases of Adamus?
So the revocation of the lease were contingent on 2 critical premises. The first was the fact that the company had ceded portions of their concessions to other parties without recourse to the requirements that demanded express prior ministerial approval. So that was, if you like, in plain words, offense number 1. The other issue had generally to do with their operations and their operational protocols. Indeed, if you study and thoroughly examine the laws that govern mining, large-scale mining companies, for instance, are supposed to operate with recourse to certain environmental concerns. All of those in the reports of the Chief Inspector of Mines were obviously breached. And so these 2 grounds necessitated and warranted the revocation. But in the interest of justice and fairness, the sector minister, as you rightly recorded the trajectory of the issue, gave audience to them, engaged their petition, and following the review of the petition, it became apparent that indeed their offences are not, if you like, repairable, subsequent to which the ministry has now upheld the revocation as its final conclusion on the matter.
Did you inform Adamus on the reasons for the revocation?
Absolutely. Indeed, they were made thoroughly aware, subsequent to which they wrote a petition in that particular respect. And, initially, if we want to go back to the timelines, somewhere in May, when the petition, or I think, the latter part of April, when the petition was received, a committee was established to review the petition, and the minister initially gave them a working period of 2 weeks. But we are now in the month of August. So from April, May, June, July, August, that should tell you the thoroughness thoroughness and extent of work that the committee has done in reviewing the said petition. So within this period, we have engaged them adequately, thoroughly. We have incorporated and gathered their responses. But apparently, it appears that their work, as it were, was not satisfactory, and therefore the decision of revocation stands permanently.
The law requires that where breaches are present, as you mentioned, the mine operator must be notified and the operator must be given 120 days to rectify. Was that done? Did you give Adamus enough time to rectify whatever breaches there were?
The law equally mandates the minister under certain circumstances to instantaneously order a revocation. So indeed, there are times where mining companies have, under the circumstances, violated breaches, and they've been given that 120 window for rectification. But there are also certain circumstances where the minister, based on the facts available, the extent, the depth of the devastation, and the overall non-compliance, can instantaneously order a revocation. And that was the case of Adamus. Therefore, they didn't fall as beneficiaries of that 120-day window. In any case whatsoever, even going away from that, again, I'm saying we can do the count from April till now. So, I mean, the months that have come through, we've had May, we've had June, we've had July. All of these have been periods of allowances that, relevant amendments could have been made, especially because the review committee consistently were engaging Adamus. But in the course of that work, even, it was clear that Adamus was not even being cooperative in some, cases. Indeed, there were points where they were not being compliant with demands and requests from the review committee that was supposed to sit on their petition. And so if you put all of that together, plus the non-compliance, the action that had to be taken was obvious, and that is what the Minister, Honorable Amakofibo, has subsequently upheld.
Let me bring in Echo Taylor. He is the Group Head for Geology and Exploration at Adamus Resources Limited. Welcome to News Night. You've been hearing from the ministry. How do you respond to that? The ministry said two issues. You ceded portions of the permit to other parties without recourse to the law.
Thank you for. I would like to say good evening to your precious listeners, and thank you for having me. I would like to say what my colleagues said isn't the fact. What exactly led to the revocation was several allegations that the ministry made against us, and broadly, it was related to illegal mining, regulatory approvals, and some operating arrangement, and of course, involvement of some Chinese people that allegedly were cited on our concession. And based on that, they inferred that we've ceded our mining concessions to these foreign nationals. The company strongly disagrees to those allegations. Adamus is a large-scale regulated mining company, and we have extensive records covering our operations, permit, regulatory engagement, and arrangement that are being questioned by the ministry. One thing that in particular that I want to point across is that the presence of unauthorized people on the mining concession does not automatically mean these people are working for Adamus, or that the company has, authorized those people to work on our concessions. These are large concession areas, and that distinctions matter. So there's no evidence showing that we've ceded any of our mining leases to any foreign nationals. There's no evidence towards that. We've provided documentary evidence to the minister and to the ministerial committee, and it supports our stance. And we strongly disagree with that allegation.
You, in your statements, accused the minister of abusing his powers. How exactly?
Look, the issue for us really is about the process, not personality. So these are significant mining leases. And as my colleague rightly said, there are legal framework governing how mineral rights are dealt with, including how they may be revoked. And you rightly asked him whether we were given a 120 days to respond, and the answer is no, we weren't. And he stated that the process started from 24th April to date. But from 24, they've already revoked our license. So we were not given any per the regulations. We're not given any days to respond to our allegation. So our legal advice is that the required statutory process was not followed. And that is the basis upon which the company has described the decision as unlawful and raised concern about the exercise of those powers. Ultimately, we'll put the details, legal argument, and evidence before the appropriate forum. I can't go through each of it at this forum.
So that brings me to my next question. What are you going to do next?
Now, we taking advice from our legal counsel, and as we said, we will at the appropriate time we will let everyone knows what our intentions are. But we stand by our decision that we disagree with the decision that the minister has taken. It is unlawful per our legal advice. So we're going to take proceed with our next process.
Is it safe to say that the ministry or the Minerals Commission has now taken over the 3 concessions that the ministry has revoked your license or your leases on?
Per what they've put across, that is what they are saying. But to us, Adamus is still Adamus as a company is a corporate entity. And we don't see that the company has been transferred into into the hands of the government at this stage. To us, Adamus as an entity still exists, and we know the process that has been followed. The minister has given the directive that the leases has been revoked and has installed an interim management committee, but we still question the processes that has been taken, and our legal counsel will take the necessary steps that needs to be taken.
Let me bring in Pakwesi Shandor. Pakwesi, we are learning that some Chinese have moved onto these concessions and are now operating the concessions. How true is that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Indeed, on a sister platform, I had cause to state emphatically that development is one that should be dismissed and disregarded. Because even if you look at the processes for the transfer of a concession, you cannot instantaneously, a day after the revocation of a mining license, immediately import another, operator. It doesn't even work that way, going by the process. And so how would Chinese move to, a concession barely a day after, the earlier operators had been, taken off the said concession? And so it is not true. And it is one that should be dismissed accordingly. As of now, it is only the Minerals Commission that has been given the administrative oversight over the company and its, concession. And as and when there is the need to communicate the future of the mine by way of its new handlers or whatever the case may be, that will be put out accordingly. But as of now, government has not given it to any Chinese investors whatsoever.
So I'm seeing photos of people, including Chinese nationals, in the offices of Adamus Resources in the Western region. You are saying, what exactly are these Chinese nationals doing there?
Well, since, you are making reference to the photos and using that as basis of your interrogation, perhaps you could, not to sound dismissive or condescending, but you should obviously know better why they are there. Because I'm saying that from government or the ministry's standpoint, the company is currently now under the oversight responsibility of the Minerals Commission. The Minerals Commission also has not brought in any Chinese whatsoever to embark on any sort of operation whatsoever. And so perhaps maybe there are other facts that we are not aware of. But what is substantive in the books of government and under the authority of the Sector Minister, Honorable Amakufibwa, is the fact that the company is now under the responsibility of the Minerals Commission and no Chinese investor has been brought whatsoever.
I think it's a good time to bring in Kofi Bento. He's the Senior Vice President for Imani Africa. He's been writing extensively on this on Facebook. Kofi Bento, what do you make of the situation as we have it, especially when we've been advocating for the localization of our mining sector?
Right, you're still listening to News 9 here on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra and numerous affiliates across the country. Apologies for the break in transmission there. Remember, you can be a part of the show by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 11 11 997. Let's hear your thoughts. You can also send us a voice note. Let us be crisp and short, a maximum of 30 seconds. Let's do business. And George Wiafe is here. George, what's coming up in business?
Well, Kenneth, the tax analyst Francis Timoboy wants Akabiri Limited to push for further engagement with government on some tax concerns rather than opting for a shutdown. And economist Professor Peter Korte highlights value addition concerns despite strong growth in Ghana's merchandise exports to head $62 billion. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, Sinter's tanks, and Pepsodent, Herbal, and Charcoal.
Hello? Charlie, I'm at the library. Why do you keep calling me?
Wait, question. What's the capital of Burkina Faso?
Ouagadougou. Bye.
Wait. Which planet is the hottest in the solar system?
Venus. Charlie, why all these questions?
See, I'm playing the MTN Swipe and Win promo. I might cash out some cool 1,000 Ghana cedis today.
Hey, 1,000 cedis. Charlie, what's the next question?
Join the MTN Swipe and Win promo today. Answer trivia, earn points, and stand a chance to win 1,000 Ghana cedis every day. Weekly cash of 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000 Ghana cedis. A brand new Hyundai Texan in the first 3 months, and the ultimate grand prize of 500,000 Ghana cedis. Recharge your account to qualify for the daily draws. To join, visit swipeandwinpromo.mtn.com.gh. Download the My MTN app or dial *5030#. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. TNCs apply.
MTN.
Who dey brush? We dey brush them. Who dey brush? We dey brush them. Brush your teeth. Brush your teeth every day and night. Ghana gems and tackle them. Price their gems away. England gems, we go price them. Croatia gems, we go price them. Panama gems, we go price them. We go.
Whatever the gems, brush them away with the new Pepsodent, now in limited edition World Cup packs. This advert is FDA approved.
Cast your mind back to 2022. The prices were rising. The stress was high. Every liter of fuel felt like a sacrifice. Do you remember who stepped forward first? When others were comfortable with high prices, Star Oil chose you. We cut our own profits so you could keep your AC on, keep your engines running, and keep your life moving without the heavy burden. We gave you room to breathe when things felt tight. Because of you, our star savers, we became #1. Today, the pumps are a battleground. Others are finally cutting prices because they have to. But Star Oil, we do it because we want to. Don't just chase a price, remember a friendship. We were there for you then, and with new innovations coming your way, we are here for you now. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
If you want quality, this be where you belong. Hey, tough, hey, strong. Oh, gonna shout and sing the song. When the sun they hot, syntax no break. When the rain they fall, still no shake. Builders they choose and plumbers they prove. Any project you they start.
Hello, good afternoon. I am calling from your bank. We are currently experiencing a system downtime, so we need to secure your account. Please, can you confirm your account number and your login details so we can restore access immediately? Yes, your username and password, just to verify.
Beware of fraudsters. Your bank will never ask for your login details, PIN or password over the phone. Shine your eye. Spot the fraud. Stop the fraud. This message is brought to you by the Ghana Association of Banks.
If you spot the fraud, you go fit to stop the fraud. Make you know they lose God.
Cover, everything will cover. You and all you love.
Hollard, we cover you.
Every mosquito study run away. Oh, come on, tonton preko. Sasso, me se come tonton preko. Oh, come on, tonton preko. Sasso, come tonton preko. Nani sham ne die demo stronko.
This advert is FDA approved.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, tax analyst Francis Timoboy wants the Accra Brewery Limited to opt for engagement with government over excise duty concerns rather than moving to shut down operations. Now, this follows report that the brewery firm is considering shutting down operations with a planned increase in excise duty on some of their products. Mr. Boy noted that the firm also cannot discount the fact that it is also facing some internal challenges.
When Accra Brewery is saying they want to shut down, I'm struggling to believe that it is an industry thing, or in other words, it cuts across all the brewery manufacturing. The reason is that Accra Brewery is a public company. I mean, they're listed, so we know their financial statements. And in 2023, 2024, you could see some financial challenges that they are having. So potentially, they are thinking that, or based on their financial statement, they believe that they cannot be able to take on additional taxes, and that is why they are sounding this alarm. If I should show you some numbers, in 2023, the company reported, a loss after tax of 61 million cedis. In 2022, they decided to issue a rights issue in order to make payment for some intercompany loans that they have. So and again, their financial situation hasn't changed, even though revenue keeps going up. So I think that this is a company specific challenges. The concerns are valid, but then to the extent of shutdown, I think that we shouldn't spread it across the entire sector.
And that is tax analyst Francis Tumoboy. Now, economist Professor Peter Cote has indicated that Ghana must concentrate on value addition rather than just exporting raw materials. Now, this is coming after the latest merchandise report showed that the country exports went up by 9-folds to hit 654 billion Ghana cedis ending last year. Professor Cote says that the current structure is creating jobs for other economies rather than Ghana.
It doesn't speak so well of us that after kids, we continue to export commodities in raw form without adding much value. What it means is that we are not creating the jobs, but we are helping other countries to create more jobs than we do. We are not adding value. You see, we're exporting a lot, but not adding value. If we're adding value, the returns or the export earnings will be much, much significant than we are seeing now, but we are not. And therefore, it's like we are creating jobs for other economies, and that should change.
And that is economist Professor Peter Cote. Now, the Bank of Ghana has urged commercial banks to take advantage of the growing potential remittances by developing dedicated savings and investment products for Ghanaians living abroad. The governor disclosed this at the meeting with managing directors and chief executives of commercial banks in Accra. And we apologize for our inability to bring you that sound. Two other stories. Then Telecel Ghana has partnered with Mobile Money Advocacy Group Ghana to strengthen the capacity of mobile money agents and improve professionalism across the agent network, or the network of the operating firm. Speaking at the program, Sales and Distributing Director at Telecel Ghana, Samuel Sapon, said that the agent network remains a critical component of the company's operations and customer delivery in the country. We apologize for that challenge in bringing that queue over there. And Mobile Money Limited has announced that there will be disruptions on its network. That is from midnight, that is today, to 4 a.m., that is tomorrow. Now, that is August 13, 2020. Now, this is due to a planned system upgrade that will be carried out to enhance service delivery. It has the notice that it sincerely apologizes for the disruptions that this would cause. So, if you're trying to actually send money on the network from midnight to 4 a.m. on August 13, 2026, you'll be having some challenges due to this system upgrade that they are undertaking on the network. And that is a notice coming from Mobile Money Limited to the fact that there'll be some disruptions on the network from midnight to 4 a.m. That is August 13, 2026. So if you're trying to send some money, you would indeed have some challenge because of this system upgrade that they are undertaken, and they're asking customers to bear with them as they work out these upgrades on the system. And that's all for business, and apologies for our challenge to bring you those sound bites earlier for those stories. And that's all for business on Newsnight.
Let's do sports, and Benaya is here with the latest. Benaya, what's happening in sports?
Yesterday, you see, I told you that Ghana every day comes with its drama. Yesterday was Hatso Folk and Galka with their drama. Today there's another drama because the Black Queens are demanding their outstanding bonuses and per diems as they accuse the government of neglect and inadequate professional support. Now the Black Queens are in action tomorrow against Ivory Coast in the Intercontinental Playoffs, with a place in the Women's World Cup at stake. Now, the Queens missed out on an automatic qualification after suffering a 2-1 defeat to Malawi in the quarterfinals of the Women's African Cup of Nations. Now, ahead of the crucial encounter, the Black Queens issued a statement demanding payment of their outstanding bonuses and per diems while accusing the government of neglect. And my colleague Lawrence Beidou has the details. Okay, so I apologize for the sound there. And yeah, so Kenneth, that's basically it. So the Black Queens are saying the government have been very poor in terms of treatment.
I agree with them.
And all that.
You know,
there was even a party said the minister only came to visit them once when they are in their training grounds.
But
and
for
all.
Black Stars,
the Black Stars, the whole entourage would have been
right?
there.
There.
Not long ago, there was an argument as to whether or not the Black Queens should be paid the same winning bonuses as their male counterparts. Some were saying that they don't agree with that, including myself actually initially. But after a broad consideration, I think they actually deserve more winning bonuses than the Black Stars.
They're even giving them, it's not even up to a quarter of what the Black Stars are getting.
That's an insult.
You are even kind of surprised why they still struggle to give them all these bonuses that they deserve. Because if it were to be the Black Stars are taking huge sums of money, but they still make sure that they get all bonuses and monies that are due them in tournaments and stuff. So yeah, let's hope they deliver, because now that the girls failed to qualify for the quarterfinal and are now playing playoffs and stuff, we all know it's going to be very difficult as it stands now, because they are going to be very nonchalant towards this stuff. So that's it for sports, Kenneth. That's
Thank you very much, Benaya. Let's take you to other stories. He traveled to the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, in search of work and a better life for his family. But his dream turned into a nightmare when his roommate poured acid over him, completely disfiguring his face and leaving severe scars across his body. After several failed attempts to secure justice, 28-year-old Alex Digley returned to Ghana to his wife, 2 children, and aging mother with no means of supporting them. Collins from Pond has more in our latest feature, Scars from Dubai.
The man smiling in these photos is Alex Digley. In April 2022, he left Ghana for Dubai in search of work and a better future for his family. The man sitting here today is the same person, but an acid attack left permanent scars across his face and body and brought the life he was building abroad to an abrupt end.
I traveled to Dubai, that was 2022, April, and I went there. And you know, Dubai is a country that is a tough country. You not get there, then you get a job. You have to take it difficult before you can get a job. So I stayed for 8 months before getting a job.
Alex shared accommodation with Ghanaians and other nationalities, often supporting those without work. One day, he says tension with one Ghanaian housemate, Michael, escalated.
We start exchanging of words. So that was then Michael told me that you see what I'll do to you, I'll show you. I did not take it serious because I know that I did not do anything bad wrong to Michael. So I'm not having any bad intention about him. So the way he told me that I will show you, I did not take it serious.
Alex alleges that the following day, Michael confronted him again. He says the man first attempted to strike him before returning with a clear liquid in a bottle. He later learned it was acid.
That time, because of the heat, so I removed my shirt and hung it on the dryer before I'm in the kitchen cooking. And he came. He came back, not knowing he opened the bottle already. So he got near me. I turned my face like this and he just poured it on me. Because I'm not wearing top, he poured it on my face and all my body do like this.
After Alex was discharged from the hospital, the case was referred to the public prosecution in Dubai. He also approached Ghana's mission in the United Arab Emirates for assistance. According to Alex, the mission gave them the contact of a lawyer and provided 2,000 dirham towards legal support. But he says the lawyer did not attend court and later demanded additional 24,000 dirhams for legal expenses. With no money for legal representation, accommodation or food, Alex abandoned the process and returned to Ghana.
The suffering and what we are passing through over there, where to sleep, what to eat, we cannot continue to be asking. No. So we decided to come back home to Ghana so that maybe we can get help from Ghana, from our leaders. But we came back, I continue calling out for justice. No one is hearing me out.
This unfinished room is now home to Alex, his wife Monica, and their 2 children.
If you go inside, you can see there is nothing inside. No paint, no tiles, no nothing. If rain is falling, the water, if wind is blowing, the water will be entering the room. There is no washroom, no toilet.
Unable to find stable employment, Alex now depends on a motorbike donated to him to work as an Okada rider. It is the family's main source of income. But even as he tries to earn a living, Alex says some passengers avoid him because of his scars.
It's quite tough. It's not the people that like taking my motor, but the people that know my situation. There are a lot of people who have been seeing me on the media, so they know that it's not the Okada business that did this to me.
The acid attack changed Alex's appearance and ended the future he was building abroad. He still has 2 children to raise and a wife to support. He now wants justice for what happened in Dubai and a chance to rebuild his life through stable work. Collins Frimpong, Joy News, Dodoa.
I know my Koliwa, I know my Koliwa. I know my Koliwa, I know my Koliwa. I know my Koliwa, I know my Koliwa. I know my Koliwa, I know my Koliwa.
I don't intend to speak much longer. If you look on the menu card, the first item is okra soup and fufu. I'm yearning to get started. And so, may God bless Jamaica, may God bless Ghana, and long live the enduring bonds between our 2 peoples. Let the okra soup and fufu flow.
Let the fufu flow. President John Mahama there. And Michael Ashale is in the studio with your say. What has he been saying though?
But you heard him. He says fufu and okra is on the menu.
I wonder how that would taste.
I don't want to wonder. I am comfortable with my fufu and all my other combinations, light soup and granite, whatever you want
but it's
to do.
Okay to have 2 pieces of okra in there, like
yeah, but like the okra cannot be the main thing.
Being okra and fufu.
Well, fufu is really not my thing anyway.
John Dramani Mahama was eager to taste it. What if I was a president? I would have asked him, Mufa Bibi, give me an alternative.
Right.
That's no way that would be the only food I'd want to taste. But how do you like it?
I'm not a big fan of fufu, to be honest. I don't hate
you don't
it.
Have to be a fan of it. I'm just asking, how do you like it?
I usually like it with chicken soup. Yeah, with big chicken. Yeah.
There's a thing called chicken soup.
Yes.
Is there a soup without chicken in it?
Obviously. But tell us what people are saying.
Well, Kenneth, additionally, people have been sending us comments on some of our top stories. And this one from Bright. And Bright, your surname, I will not try to butcher it for you. He says he's from WOE, NPP, and they attacked us. Anytime they supposed to go to court, then they are sick. Just an attempt to delay court proceedings. God is watching them. And then this one from Nana Ekuamua Boatin from Ablekuma Central says, this government are quick to persecute their political opponents and also quick to discharge or file nullity prosequi for the criminals in their, not criminals, but for the people within their party standing trials. The same people shouting oral are the same people releasing their criminal gangs who have committed financial crimes. This one from Musa Batwa from Asawa says the court proceedings continued during the 2023 vacation period with further dates scheduled. So why is the MPP now portraying the same procedure as unlawful? This one says Hi Kenneth, I am Sam Bannerman in USA. It's very interesting how Sedina Tamakloe, who misappropriated or allegedly stole from taxpayers and ran away from justice, is now a free woman because her government is in power. Well, Sam, that's not entirely what it is. She's gone to court, she's appealed that conviction, and now she's a free woman. And then this one says, well, are lawyers government workers for which their vacation should halt national duty of the Attorney General? Well, thank you, Francis, for that question, and we are grateful for all those who send us and share their views with us, Kenneth.
Indeed, and that's it for News Night this evening. Thank you very much for being a part of the show, and apologies once again for the technical challenges that happened intermittently. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
Mine is Gemma. Appiah.
And don't forget to do the 2 brush your teeth day and night with Pepsodent. Up next is Strong and